Hello and welcome back to the TomFM channel, and welcome back to my team career mode on the Formula 1 game. Welcome back to Shtygel Grand Prix, the team named after our hero on our Football Manager saved, Andre Shtygel. Today we've got the Bahrain Grand Prix coming up, which will be very exciting. That comes up in just a couple of days' time on screen. We've got to put in some activities to do as a team before we get there. So we're going to do some durability team building there, just to increase the morale of our durability team there. So hopefully they'd make some better parts for us and increase the durability of the parts better. The morale is quite a big thing in the game, I think, so hopefully if we can improve our durability and the morale of the durability team, we'll have some very reliable cars this season. We're also thinking about upgrading some of our facilities as well, but as you can see, they're all really expensive. We can afford this analysis suite, but everything else is well over £2 million, so we've got to do some saving up of our money, and I think it's sensible for us to actually invest in the marketing side of things, because we've got to spend money to make money, I think. So that's what we're going to have to do. We've got a few parts coming in, but not quite in time for the Bahrain Grand Prix, so a few upgrades coming to the car very, very shortly, which will be good. We're not actually the worst car on the grid either. I think the Williams is below us, and I think the Haas is below us as well now. So we're not actually the slowest car on the grid. We should be around the top end of Q3 when we're qualifying and things like that. We've got another sponsor as well, so we're going to get the Atlantic sponsor coming in for some extra money weekly. And then I found this, which the game will explain.
Here, we can spend any extra money that you secured on perks. Each of these perks benefit both you and your current team. They stay with you, so they'll make you a more attractive prospect in future negotiations.
So that sounds pretty good to me, like, you know, if we can invest in ourselves as well, that makes us a better driver and stuff, so that's quite handy. So what we're going to do is do the social media team, so we get better acclaim, and that way we can get more sponsors down the line. So it's all trying to make money. That's what I'm trying to do at the moment, try and make money to make upgrades in the car as quickly as possible, so we can be fighting for podiums very, very soon. But as you can see, we're heading into qualifying now here in Bahrain. Bahrain, one of my stronger tracks, I've got to say, so I'm expecting a decent qualifying session here. I think we're on 90 difficulty. I think we turned it up from 85 last time in Australia because it seemed a little easy, so we've turned it to 90 for this. And as you can see, at the end of the first qualifying run, we've set a 129.1, which isn't a bad time, I must say. Pretty happy with that one. We do go out for another one, but as you can see, we are well down on our time, so I didn't even finish the lap on this one, which went straight into the pits because we were well down on our time, wasn't getting a good time there. So we go to our final qualifying run. We've got only a few seconds left in the session, so once we cross the line, our time's done. I don't think many cars are behind us at all, so we've got to go for a really strong time here. And as you can see, in the timings, we are 14th as it stands right now. We've had a really good Q1, all the other cars behind us had a really bad Q1s. I feel like the AI aren't particularly good at this track, but as you can see, we are 4 tenths up on our time right now, so we're going to have a really, really solid qualifying session here as we come across the line at the end of Q1 in 10th position. As it pops from the screen quite delayed. There we go, 10th position, absolutely mental. Now, I'm going to assume that the AI aren't particularly good at this track, and I'm going to assume that I'm obviously quite good at this track. That's what I'm assuming. So as we go into Q2, because I've used all 3 sets of my soft tyres in Q1 to try and get us out of it, we've got no fresh sets of tyres, so we're going to have to try and set a lap on some used tyres. So I waited to the end of the session to just set one right at the end, so we sort of know what we've got to beat here on our used tyres. So we're going to go out for a lap here. The first corner, probably taking a little bit too much curb there, not the best turning for us there, a bit too much curb, and it sort of unbalances the car a little bit. But going onto the straight, a little late on the DRS button as well, so that's going to cost us a few tenths as well. So it's quite frustrating. I think we could have actually had a much quicker lap here. I think we've made 2 mistakes there in the opening few corners as we look to come around into this sort of windy middle section, or sector 2 of the track. Just losing the rear end slightly there as we mount the curb a little bit there as we come around the corner. A bit of a lag spike there as well, which is a bit frustrating. I seem to notice that a little bit in this game. It seems to be a bit more demanding than previous Formula 1 games, and that sort of puts you off a little bit as well, a bit of a lag, but there's nothing you can really do about it as well in the end, which is a bit annoying. But as you can see, we're trying to get the slipstream off Kvyat here. Obviously, we'll have the dirty air from him as well behind us, which isn't going to help us, but in that situation, we've got the slipstream, so hopefully we've picked up a few tenths on the straight. As this corner here, one of the penultimate corners, if you touch the curb there, you spin out. So you can see I'm going quite wide there to avoid the curb, to try and not spin out, because I've done that far too many times in practice and in previous races and Grand Prix and games and things like that. So try to avoid the curb. We go very wide. As you can see, we are coming up to the final corner on the track now. hopefully here we're going to get a good little bit of toe move from the car in front of us. Might just be a bit too far away for the slipstream. But as we come across the line, we are provisionally in P12, which is absolutely mental. Obviously not quite inside the top 10 that we need to be if we want to progress into Q3. But I think if we got there, that would be a bit stupid. But once everything was said and done, other cars across the line, we've qualified in P14, which I think is pretty reasonable, to be fair. I think we're maybe a little bit above where we should be in terms of the order, but you know, these things happen sometimes, doesn't it? So but obviously because of that, I have turned the difficulty up to 95 now, so we've gone from 90 to 95 for the race, thinking that we need to just sort of step things up a little bit. We're going to go from the softs to the mediums in the race, as you can see there on the strategy, and it's lights out and away we go. Lando Norris in front of us gets an absolutely rocket start there as he overtakes his teammate up to 7th position now as he grabs Albon as well. We go for a dive bomb down the inside. We are squeezed though and sort of have to go onto the grass to avoid other cars and collisions, which is a little bit cheaty maybe, but we've done it now. There's nothing we can do. We've not got a warning. And after that, we do have an illegal overtake on Daniel Ricciardo. We have to slowly let him pass once again, but we'll fight him into this corner here as we take the inside line. Daniel on the outside. We've got the better traction and we just about make the move stick there on Danny Ricciardo, which means that we have moved up from P14 to P6 in a couple of corners. And you just saw me turn it up to 95 on the difficulty. Like, we got such an insane start there. Fantastic stuff. And on the straights as well, we've got the Mercedes engine in our car. It was so powerful on this track. So powerful. You saw there that we've got away from Albon. We've caught up to Verstappen in front of us. They both run the Honda engines, and our engine is just so much better, apparently. And you can see here on the main straights, we're catching up to Verstappen in front of us, which I don't think should be happening. Yes, we've got the engine, but the aero and things like that, I feel like the aero is still playing a big impact there, and we shouldn't be catching him at the rate we were. But we caught up to him again through the corners, though. He does have the better aero, so through the corners you can see that he is faster than us, and he is getting away from us through the corners. But in a straight line, our car is rapid because of this Mercedes engine, which is absolutely fantastic. We carry on trying to catch up Max Verstappen, but as you can see, Pierre Gasly is out the race, and the safety car has been deployed here on lap 2, a very eventful race so far. Pierre Gasly, as you can see, smoke coming out the back of his AlphaTauri there as his engine gives up, and he ends up parking the car just off the track there. So it makes sense to have a safety car coming out. So as we come around the final corner, I'm going to go and dive into the pits to put on the hard tyres for the rest of the race, get a free pit stop in here pretty much. But as you can see, not every car's going into the pits. A Ferrari and Verstappen in front of us going to the pits. Albon doesn't, both Mercedes haven't, and look at the mini-map. Only like half the field are coming into the pits, which is mental. But the beautiful thing about the pit lane is our pit box is right at the very end. So we go past every other pit lane box and we're at the end. And because we're at the end, no one's sort of there to block us off. Verstappen and the Ferrari behind us, they had to stay in their pits quite a long time because everyone dove into the pits quite bunched up. So they had to sort of stay in their pits to wait for the other cars to go past them. So we've actually ended up jumping Leclerc and Verstappen in the pit lane. We've overtaken them there. What an absolutely fantastic pit stop that was for us. Really lucky, I must say, but it works out nicely. And as you can see, when we catch up to the safety car, we find ourselves in 11th place, which is obviously absolutely fantastic. And what it means is we are in net lead of the race. The 11 cars in front of us didn't stop for their pit stop, but everyone else behind us did because we jumped Leclerc and Verstappen in the pit. So we are currently net leading this race. And as the racing gets underway, as the safety car goes in, Leclerc is right on our tail. We go for a dive bomb on our teammate as well as Latifi there. We've actually get both our teammate and Latifi. We're now battling with Magnussen through the opening corners, and he manages to stay ahead of us just for now. But a great little move there to get past Latifi, almost hitting him, but got past our teammate as well, who's doing very well at Lacey fantastically. And he now is challenging us. He's coming up the inside. You can see his front wing just there right next to our front wheel, almost contact between. I think we avoided that just about. And Alesi still coming at it, still trying to have a little look down the inside there, but we hold him off in these corners, and now he drops back ever so slightly now. Alesi really coming at us, and he drops back and stays behind for a little while, but again, he waits for that home straight, and he's waiting to put an attack on us. Is he going to move to the outside? Oh, not quite. He stays behind us, but he was really gaining on us there with that, I assume, ERS overtake and things like that. He was really gaining on us there. And is he going to have another go at us down into turn 4? I don't quite think so. I think he's just going to stay away from us as we round the corner, hitting the apex to cover off that inside. He's dropped back behind us by half a second as well. So we've now got to try and catch up on the other cars in front of us. And again, I think Alesi's going to go in for his pit stop this time. As you can see in the pit lane, everyone is there now. So we come out of it and we're in second place in this race. Bottas is the only person not to have pitted yet. I did check this. He hasn't actually pitted yet, as you can see. Everyone else has them, but onto the mediums rather than the hards. Potentially, we've made a bit of a strategy error there. Maybe going to the mediums would have been a bit better. And as you can see, because of that, we are holding up quite the train of traffic behind us on lap 8 of 14 now. You can see on the minimap, plenty of cars behind us. Verstappen had a little look down before we get onto this sort of middle straight here as we hold them off nicely for now, but this time Verstappen coming forward, looking for the overtake. As you can see, he gets past us as we go into the first corner, 3 wide with the Ferrari of Leclerc as well. We are squeezed into the middle. We just about hold off the Ferrari and we have slightly better traction to get past Max Verstappen, but we got very lucky there as we went 3 wide into that corner. Absolutely crazy. We hold on to the position as we around these corners, but as you can see, we are now currently in the lead of the race because Bottas has pitted as well. In all that excitement of going 3 wide to turn 1 there, we are still leading the race now because Bottas went in to have his pit. So we are actually effectively leading the race, but Max Verstappen says, no, you're not going to be leading this race much longer, as he looks to make a move down the inside on his medium tyres, which are probably going to be a bit quicker. We've obviously got a little bit more longevity in our tyres, but Max Verstappen goes very wide there, and it's now Ricciardo in second position as he's taken Leclerc. And I don't know what's happened to Verstappen. He's dropped outside the top 5 now. Verstappen has completely gone as we hold on to our lead of the race mentally, and Max Verstappen disqualified. He obviously went wide, stopped on track somehow, couldn't get going again, and both Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly out of this race now. On to lap 9 though, Leclerc has had enough. This time he's saying, no, I am taking control of this race. And he gets us before we even get onto the DRS straight. We do get the DRS ourselves, but Leclerc is fast, I presume on the faster tyre, using his overtake. He's probably using the rich mix as well. We're trying to, but we just don't have the power. And you can sort of see as Daniel Ricciardo gets past us as well. And we try and go for a dive on the both of them, which just doesn't work. Pure desperation, that one, to try and just control the race. We're pretty good at defending, but once the cars get past us, these cars are going to be so quick, and we are not going to be able to catch up to them as we're on to lap 10 now. Only 4 laps to go. Can we hold on to a podium though? We are sitting 3rd in the race right now as Perez comes down the inside, but we get slightly better traction on the exit there, and we just about keep hold of position, but he's got the outside line. We've got to yield a little bit because if you touch those curbs going too fast, you spin out completely on that right-hand corner there. So we had to slow down, yield the place to Perez. And Perez, as well as Kvyat now, he's obviously got really good traction through that corner, got a fantastic exit. And Kvyat in the Alpha Tauri up into 4th position as well. We've got to defend from Carlos Sainz behind us now in the McLaren as we drop down to 5th in the standings. Carlos Sainz now obviously going to be using DRS on us as well. We've got DRS on Kvyat, but Carlos Sainz in the faster car is getting ahead of us as well. If we can just hold it round the outside maybe as we nearly go into the back of Kvyat there trying to late brake, have to move to the outside. It gives Carlos Sainz a bit of space, but we do get the inside line there, get in front of him once again. A nice little battle with Carlos Sainz. We also get DRS on Carlos because we were ahead of him at the DRS detection point, which is fantastic, so we can just have a little bit of breathing room to Carlos Sainz. Only half a second, but it's more breathing room than him being in front of us as we try and hold on to the back of Kvyat. But as you can see, our car is just a little bit too slow, as it should be in the position in the first place. We got incredibly lucky with safety cars as Carlos Sainz zooms past us. We got incredibly lucky with the safety car in this Bahrain Grand Prix, and out of position our car essentially, and we are dropping back down the grid a little bit as the faster cars come past us, as they should do, really, as they should do. I'm a little bit disappointed we can't quite keep in touch with them. Potentially that might suggest the difficulty is a little high, but I'm pretty happy with the 95 difficulty that we're on right now as we defend nicely from Grosjean there as he looks to catch us up as we head into lap 12. Now he's right behind us. In fact, he's lost his position to Sebastian Vettel now, who's on the soft tyres, so that suggests that Vettel may have stopped twice actually, as Vettel just breezes past us completely on those soft compound tyres. Nothing we can really do on our hard tyre with not much ERS left, not much fuel left either. We've got to really conserve things now, and the tyres are starting to go off just a little bit there, as you can see, as I really mess up those sequence of corners in Sector 3. And it means that Raikkonen is now looking to catch us up a little bit as we head on to the final lap of the race. Kimi Raikkonen, I mean, we're on for a points finish right now, but as you can see, there is a huge train of cars behind us, including Raikkonen, the 2 Mercedes, I think also another Haas and a Red Bull in there as well. So we've got to hold on to some points finishes, but we've got some fast cars behind us. As Raikkonen looks to come past us, we try to hold it around the outside. As we go wide, he goes narrow into the corner. We look for the old switchback, nearly going to the back of him, take a little bit too much curb there. But Raikkonen still holds position, although he's not had a great exit to that corner there, as we do have DRS and them going side by side. We've got the outside line, the quicker line really going through his corner, I would say, as we just about get the position back from Raikkonen. Great battling there from us and Shtygel, obviously. Raikkonen has to yield the place to us, and now we've just got to hold on for the rest of the lap and hope that we're going to hold on to the points finish that I think we deserve, really. We've raced well all race. We got extremely lucky with the safety car and the pit stops. But I think we deserve a points finish today. We've raced well, we've raced strongly, we've not put a foot wrong ourselves, really. So I think we do deserve a points finish. You know, Mercedes absolutely bottled pitting under safety car, and that's why they're in 9th and 10th right now, so far back. As Raikkonen coming up our inside now, we try and hold the line, and if you look on the mini-map, there's a red dot spinning out. Did we cause that? Is that something we caused? Let's have a quick look. As potentially we've gone a little bit, we haven't quite left him the room there. I think maybe he could blame us a little bit, as there's a bit of a crash behind us, which might affect the final few points places. But that's a tough one, really. I thought he was a bit further back than he was, and I shut the door a little bit too much. Potentially he should have braked a little more. Obviously I was in front, he had no part of the car alongside me, so I feel like it's not quite my fault. I didn't get a penalty, nothing came up on screen. But it's a racing incident, that's what I call it. But what it means is we are coming home in 7th position in only our 2nd Grand Prix of the season. What an absolutely fantastic result that is. I'm over the moon with that one. Danny Kvyat gets driver of the day. Not me, Danny Kvyat, but we'll see why Danny Kvyat gets that.
Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
I think they're pretty much talking about us there. I think that's a big conversation they're having with us, saying that I didn't deserve to finish because of the safety car. I think that's what they were saying there. But as you can see on the podium, Leclerc wins the race, Daniel Ricciardo in 2nd, and Danny Kvyat in 3rd place in the AlphaTauri. No wonder he got driver of the day there, as the podium is really quite bizarre looking at that with those cars on there. But obviously it shows that the safety car that came out, the cars that pitted at the right time, really benefited from that, including us and Kvyat, for example. As our teammate Alesi finishes down in 18th. Not the best result for him, but he didn't pit when we pitted. If he did pit when we pitted, I think we could have had a double points finish this race, which would have been absolutely mental. So as you can see, after that race, we gain a whole bunch of acclaim for ourselves, our teammate, and for the team itself, as we head up to level 4 of acclaim, which is a big boost. We're getting ever so close now to getting another sponsor on the car, which is great. We didn't get 75 laps though, only 50, which does suggest that maybe practice laps don't count so much. So that's a bad sponsor for us. We need to change that up a little bit, but at least there's no damage on either car, so we don't lose money for that one, which is brilliant. So heading into the next round, which is going to be in Vietnam, a new track for me, which I'm not familiar with, so it could go really well or really badly. I don't know, but join me next time for the race in Vietnam. Of course, if you enjoyed today's video, drop a like on it for me, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.